What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back with another live stream. It's Wednesday on an international break. We are 10 days away from the next game. So we are 10 days away from another match and more talking points. So we got to come up with our own content today. We've got to think of things to talk about. But there is some news which we're going to go through. But Brian Daigle's in the house. And we know it's a good day when Brian Daigle's in the house. How are we doing, Brian?
We're doing good, buddy. We're doing good. You know what? I put a tweet out yesterday. Going into an international break with a Spurs win is so much. It's normally like you want to hibernate because it's like, oh, could we just get back to Tottenham? I am floating around right now like Modric does in a midfield. I am just so happy and relieved that we go into this international break with a win.
I couldn't remember the last time. I mean, I can't remember what that feels like.
Exactly. It's incredible, isn't it? It's relaxing.
Having to mull over a loss and be depressed for 2 weeks.
Exactly. We can talk about good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, look, you said in your last time you were in the studio, you've never been more excited to be a Tottenham fan. You got a bit of backlash for that. How could you? You forgot Pochettino, Brian, so quickly.
It's not. See, this is what, when people take my words and try to mix them to how they want to say it.
You're more excited now than when the Champions League final?
The start of Poch, we got off to a really bad start. Then we had Poch. Don't get me wrong, Poch, his football, the players were doing incredible. But we had a chairman that always let us down. Right now, we got the right manager, an elite backroom staff, rid of Levy. The quality of players we've brought in have been better than any window we did with Poch for the amount of people, like the 4 players. And it's a whole new outlook of excitement of this club going forward post-Levy than it ever has been going into an exciting time with Levy. So I stand by my words. I have never been so excited. I'm even going to add the word optimistic. I'm going to add words for people to berate. So I am positive, excited, and more optimistic as a Spurs fan than I ever have been for what's going on at our football club on and off the pitch.
You hear that, haters? He ain't backing down. He's doubling down.
I'm doubling down, trebling down. I'll come up with a different word every single time I come in.
Cantab says Brian Modric.
I'll take that.
Calling you.
Oh, well, mate, I'll take that.
The playmaker of the Tottenham fan base.
I'll take that. Better than Luka Daigle, isn't it?
Luka Daigle.
Luka Daigle or Brian Modric?
I think I prefer Luka Daigle.
You think you prefer that?
Yeah.
It's like Ben Simeone, isn't it?
Ben Simeone, which could be making a return, people. Watch this space. Let's get into a Tottenham update, as there's a bit of news to go through over the last 24 hours with players on international break, giving some quotes. But we got a bit of transfer news coming from Fabrizio Romano. Interesting one, this one. He reported today Orlando City are interested in Richarlison. Orlando presented their long-term vision to Richarlison's team. No financial terms were discussed. Tottenham still consider Richarlison an important player. I feel like this is obviously off the back of a summer where it was linked to many clubs out in America, not in America, sorry, that was in Brazil and Saudi, which he turned down. He didn't want to make those moves. I think Tottenham for a while have been open to offers for Richarlison, but he himself said he came to Thomas Frank in the summer, said, I'm not leaving. I want to be part of this team. I want to achieve something at Spurs. I want to be an important player, because obviously his injuries have held him back a lot. Yep. When he has been on the pitch, I think by and large has been pretty good, but obviously there are some bad performances in there as well. But Orlando must have, why do you think they're pitching a proposal to Richarlison about a long-term vision if they didn't have some inkling that he would make that move? They're clearly trying to sell him, come here, be their franchise player like Sonny's been for LAFC. MLS are trying to get more talent into their league, and they're trying to build up the league. So Richarlison's a player they've targeted. Obviously, he's currently our number 1 striker. 3 goals this season, although recent performances haven't been too great. But performances at the beginning of the season were fantastic. Do you think this actually could be one that happens in the next year or so?
There's always talk, isn't there, regarding Richarlison. He's said, I want to stay and fight for my place, which you could commend for him doing that. But I've also seen, read and heard, and obviously this is coming because of the connection with Thomas Frank, that Ivan Toney is a very big possibility, and being spoken about possibly being reunited with Thomas Frank, and obviously those 2 and 2 makes 4, isn't it? When you think about Thomas Frank and Ivan Toney. If Ivan Toney was available, I think Ivan Toney is just the guy, or kind of guy we need for the way he is. He gives the teams a horrid time, doesn't he? And he does score goals. He regularly scores goals. He's doing very, very well in the Saudi League. So maybe there is more to that, and Richarlison is possibly a make weight. He's had to be leading the line right now. And one thing we can say, whether it's through his fitness regime or the way Spurs are looking after him, he hasn't got injured, which is, I think, incredible for the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
But he doesn't score the goals regularly, does he? Whether it's been we haven't got the ball to him or he can't hold the ball up and make opportunities himself. So if he was to go, I'd be fine with it. I really would, just because we need to now get a ruthless goal scoring, a flat trap bully that will give defenders an absolute torrid time and be able to do more things like hold the ball up, like get to the box and be more clinical. And as much as people may not want Ivan Toney or not agree with what I'm saying, if Ivan Toney came to this football club, he scores goals. But with Richarlison, which is the main point of this, would he go there? I mean, you got to look, Reguilon's just gone into Miami.
Well, just a quick point here. A commenter in a chat, he's saying, his name's Ernest. He says, I'm in Orlando. There's a big Brazilian population here. He has more followers on social media than the rest of our players put together. He'd be a big deal for Orlando, but I don't see it happening before the World Cup.
There you go.
A bit like how LAFC sold to Son. You know, we got a massive Korean population here. You'll feel at home.
Yep.
You know, you'll be very well supported. You'll have a massive fan base, and even though the league's not as good, will make you feel happy here. You'll be happy here. Maybe Orlando are selling something very similar to Richarlison. Big Brazilian population.
Yep.
You will feel at home here. You'll feel loved here. And maybe that's what they're trying to sell to him.
And not only that, Richarlison would be a massive success there, wouldn't he? Let's face it. He would be a huge success there. He would be amongst the goals. And that could be a key part of it. Maybe he wants to change in culture and to be around more Brazilians and whatever. And if the guy that's commented or lady that's commented about that from Orlando, that could be a massive swaying point, couldn't it? For personal reasons, not football reasons.
But how much? A lot will depend, obviously, on how things go this season. I know recently he hasn't had the best of time, but at the beginning, like the first month of the season, he was playing really well.
Yep.
I think at the moment it's tough for him because he's the only kind of recognised striker. He could do a bit of support from Solanke and Mawani. If he does put in a lot more performances like he was showing earlier in the season, and maybe finishes the season our top goal scorer, then maybe, you know, we won't want to let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I do think a big part of what's happening with his game right now is we are having to heavily rely on him. Yes, we used Tell on Saturday and successfully, but he is the only outright striker that is available to Thomas Frank and Spurs right now. Maybe whether Solanke and Mawani or both of them back and available, it gives him the rest and he's fresher to play in games. So there could be that as well. But I do think at any time if Richarlison goes, I'm not going to be crying over spilt milk, so to speak.
I wonder, because they're saying it's a long-term project, so I wonder if they're saying, look, you don't have to do anything now. We're not even talking about the summer. Maybe a couple years down the line, you know, consider this. Think about this.
How long's left of this contract?
Richarlison, I would predict 2 years, but I don't know for sure. Let me see. Richarlison contract up 2027, so 2 years.
Okay.
So maybe it's one, I guess, with 1 year left on his deal.
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be you either commit or we're going to get rid of you, isn't it? Because I can't see.
Maybe it's one that happens in the summer if you know, things still haven't quite clicked for him here. Maybe that's something. So I think that's quite an interesting update from Romano about Orlando and the fact that they're putting a proposal to him, because I don't think they put it to him if they don't think there's a possibility it can happen.
And you got to remember, if the World Cup, or when the World Cup comes, and it will be the success that it will be, a lot of eyes are going to be focusing on the MLS and how they progress and what they do moving forward to keep the momentum going. And someone like Richarlison going to the MLS would be a huge coup for them, wouldn't it?
Massive. So yeah, that is the Richarlison news. Let's talk about João Palhinha. He was in Portugal doing a press conference, obviously for the upcoming internationals, and he was asked about last season, his failed move to Bayern Munich and how the move to Tottenham has been. He said, last season was a difficult season for me. I was injured and I was out for longer than I expected. After that, I didn't get the chances that I think I deserved at Bayern, which also had an impact on my playing time with the national team. But these are phases. Our careers thrive on phases. Now I'm going through a happy phase in my life, a new club, a new project in a league that's not new to me and that I'm enjoying again. At Tottenham, I've had chances I didn't have before. I feel complete confidence in the people who wanted me to join the club, in this case, the manager. When we feel this confidence and that we're wanted somewhere, I think that's where we should be. I made this decision very easily. These chances are making me once again show what I'm capable of, and I'm very happy this new challenge and just want to enjoy the Premier League to the fullest. I think that's quite interesting quotes there from him, because is he implying Company maybe didn't want him? Because obviously, if you remember, he had a deadline day move to Bayern fall through the summer before, and Company was a manager then.
Yep.
So he was manager of Burnley. A year later, Company gets appointed, and they signed him anyway.
Yep.
Was that a club signing? Was that a signing maybe Company didn't really agree with, and off the back of that, didn't trust him or didn't give him maybe a fair shake of it? Right, and then he's come, and now he's saying he feels the love for the manager. He feels really wanted. He feels like he's been brought to a club who really want him. And now we're seeing the true level of Palhinha at Tottenham.
I'll tell you what, I wish we were blessed with club signings of that quality over the previous years. Yeah, it does sound that way, doesn't it? But also, with Palhinha, when you're at Fulham, with no disrespect for them, Bayern Munich coming for you, you're going to, any chance you get that opportunity, you're going to take it, as any player would. And it hasn't worked out, as we know. Like it didn't work out. I don't think Tell was a company type player either, was he? Because they got rid of him as soon as they could. And thank God Vincent Kompany didn't want him, and he had other players that he thought could do the midfield job better for him. Because I wish we'd got him before he went to Bayern Munich. When that Bayern Munich deal fell through, he's been exactly what we needed. I still think, honestly, and I think I had this conversation with you, who knows what would have happened if Ange Postecoglou had a Palhinha? Who knows what would have happened with the team and the style of football he wanted to play? But that's old news now. He's here. It's great to see. A lot of fans when Thomas Frank came in were, has he dealt with big players? Can he deal with the egos? Can he attract quality? Well, he did it with Kudus. He's obviously done it with Palhinha, who is an elite player in his position. And it's great to hear him. The great thing for us is when he came here, we knew he was going to settle in life in London, didn't we? We know he knew London. We knew he could speak the language. We knew what he could do. This league is made for him, isn't it? To do what he does. And I'm just delighted he's feeling that way. And I think he's probably ready to put pen to paper to make it permanent. And
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just hope Tottenham Hotspur do it in January. I really do.
And off the back of his early performances, what he's saying here, it sounds like an unbelievable coup how we've got him, because you cast your mind back a year ago when Bayern did sign him. He was so highly sought after. A lot of big clubs were looking at Palhinha, and it's mad how 1 year. I know. Look, we're a fairly big club, but after just one bad year at a top club, and your stock can fall so much that we're able to get him on a loan with an option to buy for as little as 25 million. When they signed him for must have been about 50 million.
I can't remember the exact fee, but it was definitely more than 25.
It was about 55 million, I think, 50, 55. And it's crazy how, one bad season and your stock can fall that much. And, you can't, and I think that's kind of evidence of being a bit smarter in the market, finding a player that, yes, he's out of favour, but you can see is a top-notch player, a player that we needed. He adds exactly what we were missing in that central midfield, and we've got a great deal for him. And I think we've done absolutely brilliantly to get him through the door for the price that we've been able to get him in. He seems now really happy with the move, and he seems really comfortable at Tottenham. He seems to have just fitted right in. It's like it's just one of those signings sometimes where he just fit like a glove. It's a bit like Van der Vaart when he signed for Tottenham. He just fit right in, didn't he?
Yep.
And it's like he didn't have a settling in period. He just the club suited him. He suited the club. Everyone. It's like a match made in heaven. Palhinha seems of similar ilk at the moment.
Yeah, and Joe, fair play to Tottenham for doing this. It just goes to show how many times we said we needed experience in certain, like genuine experience, the latter part of their career, like 29, 30, 31, to come in and give their experience to the players around them, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, in the training ground, the way they conduct themselves. And that there are players that can really benefit the club immediately, like you said, a Van der Vaart and a Palhinha in this instant, where they can come in and offer so much even at that age. And I think we've lost out on players down the years of this age so many times because of the age or no potential resale value. This guy is just a wonderful player at what we desperately needed. There was no okay in a couple of years. He's come in. He was the first midfielder up to 25 tackles, wasn't he, this weekend? And he does what he says on the tin, and it's been a match made in heaven, like you said.
People in the comments saying company didn't sign him. Am I going crazy? No, he definitely did. I'm looking here. Company signed for Bayern 29th of May, and Palhinha signed for Bayern 11th of July.
There you go.
He did sign.
Same year, obviously, yeah?
Same year.
There you go.
Yeah, 2024.
So there you go.
So I've had a few people comment that. Don't know what I'm missing, but it looks like no, he did sign for company. Anyway, I'm delighted with him.
Oh.
I think at the moment, I think there's a really good chance he's going to sign, isn't there?
I just hope it's done in January.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to you and you said,
anytime, doesn't really have to be
I
done,
think you said like in the summer to see that he doesn't pick up an injury or whatever.
Yeah, just give it.
But I think at 25 million, it is such a steal, and to have it wrapped up and sold and say, right, this one's done, we ain't got to worry at the end of the season where other teams may come in. Right now, whilst he's enjoying his life at Tottenham and loving football again and loving being in London, just get it done. Just get it done. He is I don't see any downside to this deal at all. Not one.
100%. James in the comments says, "Big up, boys. Ben seems to have gotten younger and more handsome."
Well, I'm older than Ben, and when it comes to the handsome, I'm only biased and take my wife's opinion on that. And on that one, I win. But I'm sure Ashley feels the same when it comes to Ben.
And he also says, "Agree, João at 6 is a monster. What do you think of our ideal midfield three?" We'll discuss that after the update. Let's just complete the video. We'll talk about now Radu Drăgușin, who is a player we've been waiting a long time to see. He's a player, interestingly enough, he's been in training. We've seen him in training for a few weeks now, and he's been talking about his recovery. He says because he was talking about, I think the manager wanted to call him up for the international.
Oh, for Romania.
Dragusin's been speaking about the process and shed light on why he was unable to feature for his country this week, stating, "The manager, Lucescu, wanted me back in the team, of course. I wanted to be together with my teammates again and to play for Romania. But on the other hand, I understood that a couple of weeks more, a month more of waiting will help me for the future. Of course, I think I'm already ready now, but in the long term, it will help me to have more stability and safety for a longer career. Tottenham is taking all the measures to come back stronger than before. I tell you that I'm going to come back and be in better shape than I was before the injury and in a better position to continue my career. ACL is one of the worst injuries in football, if not the worst. You need a longer time to recover than most people imagine. You cannot doubt what the medical staff of Tottenham is doing, or the physiotherapist, especially the surgeon who made the surgery. They have the best knowledge and the greatest experience." But those are obviously fighting. It's a bit of fighting talk there from Dragusin saying, "I'm going to be in better shape, and in better shape than I was when I got injured when I come back." Interesting to hear him say that. Obviously, we know ACLs can be extremely lengthy to recover from, even when you come back playing. Some medical suggestions say it can take even up to a year after you start playing again to recover your best form. Obviously, we saw with Bentancur, he actually recovered. He actually got injured at a similar time to what Dragusin did. It was in February time, and he looks to be coming back at a similar time. I remember he came back in that Palace game around around October, November time, wasn't it?
No, Bentancur came. Yeah. Sorry, no, you're right. It was October, November time. Yeah,
October,
exactly.
November time, because he played in that Palace away game. He came on, played in that Chelsea game, and then he had his first start against Villa, then got injured.
Yep.
So that was around October, November. So it looks like they're looking at a similar time frame for Dragusin. But it looks like they're being extra careful with him, because as I've said before, we have seen him in training now for a few weeks. So it's clearly something that, even though he's clearly been in first team training and he's ready to train with his teammates, he's not lagging in that way. You know, he's ready for that. Usually when you're ready for first team training, you should be ready to start getting minutes, but they're being extra careful with him. He's even at a stage where the international manager wants to call him up. That's how ready he is. But it looks like Tottenham are taking every precaution we can. If you cast your mind back to Bentancur, if you remember, when he came back, he actually looked, especially in that Villa game, his first start, he looked amazing.
Yep.
Like, he looked really good. Unfortunately, in that Villa game, he picked up a 3-month injury or 2-month injury in his ankle.
Yep.
And that really set him back a lot, unfortunately. And he's still kind of not, I feel like, recovered his best form, but maybe since before the injury. But he did look quite good when he first came back. Unfortunately, I think circumstances led to him not really hitting the ground running after that injury from Matty Cash. But if Dragusin can come back in a similar vein, I mean, clearly, you know, that's why they're taking every precaution.
Well, first of all, I think there's a few things, again, to say well done to Tottenham all round with, is starting off with, how many times have we said, why don't we act like big clubs and not let our players go on international break if they've got slight knocks or coming back like this from a very long-term injury? Why aren't we saying bring them back on the second game, whatever? So well done again, Tottenham, for sticking firm with this. And it looks like what they're doing again is what they said, what Frank said with Richarlison, wasn't it? Said we're giving him an extra week. We're not going to rush this. We need to make sure we keep an eye on him because of his injury history. It's really good to hear this. And then I think taking the time with it will benefit both Spurs, Dragusin and Romania a lot more than trying to rush him back and get him to do what he can't. And with international duty now, and Romero and Van der Ven and Danso and Ben Davies all away with their countries representing them, he's got time to look at Takai and Dragusin and spend a lot of time with these two and say, right, you guys are coming back to fitness, this is what we're going to do, this is how we play. We've always said as well, Dragusin looked very, very comfortable in a 3 in Genoa, didn't he? And if Spurs go to a 3 at any point, if Spurs go to about 3 at any point, whether it be to rest Romero and Van der Ven, but they want 3 because they don't, or Europe when they decide to do it, the defensive options are opening up again for Thomas Frank, aren't they? The choices and the rotation. Dragusin has the potential to be, like we said, he's an old school defender like Danso, isn't he? They just love to defend. So there could be a great partnership there. There could be part of a 3. But it's good to hear from Dragusin, not his agent.
Yeah, 100%. It's him speak.
And he speaks very confidently about coming back and being ready for Spurs. None of this stuff with his agent, Napoli, or if he ain't playing, so it's very refreshing to hear from Dragusin himself.
And I feel like under Frank, he could, because I think under Ange, it was difficult for him to be the best defender he can be because of how Ange liked to play. He likes to leave the defenders isolated. He likes his defenders to cover lots of ground and to be very good on the ball as well. It wasn't Dragusin's game that I felt. He wasn't the best at that. So he struggled, I think, in Ange's system. But under Frank, yes, they still need to be good on the ball, don't get me wrong. And maybe he can work on that. But I think they much more rely on their defenders to defend and be box defenders, and that's what they require a lot of. And I think Dragusin obviously is very good at that stuff, and I think Frank can really develop him. And look, it sounds like maybe in a couple of weeks we could be seeing him, or maybe he says 2 weeks to a month. Okay. So clearly you're trying to be careful with him, but it sounds like it's not far away. No, Dragusin's return, so that's really positive. And we've got another option coming back.
Very positive, very, very positive.
And last story of the update, we're going to be talking about The Academy and Tottenham are set to appoint Charlton Academy manager Tom Pell, according to the BBC, and into a leading position in their youth setup. Championship club Charlton last week confirmed that Pell would leave the club in December to take up a role at the Premier League side. BBC understands Pell will join Spurs in the coming months, where he will take up a role of head of academy operations and administration. He will replace Donetta Powell, who is leaving Tottenham. Pell was appointed as the Ajax Academy manager in May 22, arriving from Cambridge, where he spent 16 years. Now he'll move across London to take up a senior position with Spurs Academy set up. Now, I can't say I know too much about him, but obviously we can clearly see how much talent is coming through our academy at the moment. Well, I think we're really starting to reap the benefits of implementing this training ground and all these different things that we've implemented over the last 10 years. And obviously, those things, you don't really see the benefits overnight. It happens gradually when you start focusing on young players. And we're seeing a lot. We're seeing about. I mean, if you compare the amount of talent we have now to maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I couldn't even remember too many young players. We had like Troy Parrott, maybe one, and that was it. Like you would talk about. Winks came through.
Yep.
But now there are so many players.
Yeah,
right? We can talk about young players coming through, having amazing loan spells in our academy at the moment. There's even so many players you can't even imagine how we can all of them get their chances. There's so many you want to give a chance to. I think it's so important we get the right people in place right now to implement this talent, find a pathway from the academy to the first team, and bring out the best, because we have to take advantage of this amazing generation of talent we currently have, because it seems as though right now we have a bit of a golden generation and we can't let it pass us by.
I also think with this appointment, obviously, like you, until you mentioned it today, I didn't even know this man lived on the planet. But I think what we're looking at now is you're talking about the players that are obviously there right now. Maybe he's coming in for the generation behind. And this is now uplifting the youth that are coming through now, not deemed outgrown by the youth and ready to either, as a wise man said yesterday, use them or lose them. I can't remember what wise man next to me said that yesterday. But I think it may be for the next crop of youngsters coming through. And like we said, right now, here with Enoch and all the changes at board level, they are going to start showing what they're made of and start putting plans and their plans into practice, and we'll see where it goes. Obviously, this is someone we don't know a lot about, but if they've seen him, he's gone from Cambridge to Charlton, now to Tottenham. He's had a very good career span, hasn't he? He's gone up and up and up, and
he's only 40, which in coaching terms,
well, it's nothing. Well, especially when he said he's been at Cambridge for 16 years.
Yeah, so I mean, since he was young.
Yeah, very young. So we'll see what he can do, but I think his main focus will be the youngsters we don't know too much about yet. But we'll see when he's finally officially appointed what his actual role will entail.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think hopefully that leads to more talent coming through the academy, and I think long term, I reckon a lot of teams are going to start to give their academy players a lot of more chances. I think for a number of reasons. Number one, if you do sell academy players, that's pure profit now to PSR.
Yep.
And number two, the sustainability of continuing to spend the amount of money that clubs are spending right now is going to it's going to burst. That bubble is going to burst at some point. And at some point, you're going to have to, clubs spend all this money on academies, and they're not bringing enough players through in their own teams. And I think there's going to be a big focus on trying to utilise that facility a lot more and trying to get more talented coaches, talented players in their academies to bring through, rather than continuing to spend 50, 60, 70 million every time you want to sign a player. You can bring one through the academy and give them time to nurture. And I think that is going to be a lot more focused in the next 10 years. You're going to see a lot more academy players, I reckon.
Yeah, like I said to you off camera, I think now could be a great time for Spurs to actually use their youth team. And I give one example, but there's probably many that we don't know of. We mentioned when Tim Sherwood was called into Daniel Levy's office about playing Harry Kane. And he said, no, you play Soldado. And he was like, no, I picked the team, I'm playing Kane. Who knows how many other players may have had an opportunity to get through, but because top four was such a big issue or a main thing for them, maybe some youth players were not given their chance when they might have done, and other clubs have done it successfully. Well, we'll see. It may not be that way, but
I actually think that's what fans want when you boil down what football's really about. You know, back in the day, when football just started,
Yep.
it wasn't about signing £50 million players from abroad and having a team stacked of foreigners. It was all about the whole point of football was it was this area against that area. You know, Manchester, Tottenham. You have players from Tottenham against Manchester, and it was a battle between what area was better, who was better at football. It wasn't about who could sign the better players. So I'd love for football, because football's obviously completely gone away from that for a long time now, right? I haven't seen that kind of thing for, probably since early Premier League days, maybe even before that. Football is no longer, it's more which team's the best, more than like having a resonation with the players on the team and about them coming from the area that you support, and like it's all about pride of where you're from, right? So I'd love football to do on 180 in the next 10 years and have actually a team. You could have a team full of players from that area that you're supporting. That would be amazing. That really would be.
I'll give you the prime example of a game where I was really disappointed we didn't see it. Remember when I came back in 2022 and you, me, Ben and Danny went to Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
We lost 2-0 and Conte put out a pretty strong team with a majority or a massive, it was first teamers. And I would have, the performance was so poor, I wouldn't have minded if we played the youth or a lot more youth and gone down 2-0. At least it was right, you gave the youth an opportunity. We've had so many opportunities in the past where it's been a time where you could bleed a youngster in or a couple of them in. And I would love nothing more. I remember when I first started going, people like Darren Caskey broke into the Spurs first team. Neil Fenn, Rory Allen. I can remember a lot of youngsters that used to get an opportunity. Obviously, the money in football completely changed then. But I would love it. I'd love to see an Alfie Divine playing in midfield for Tottenham and seeing all these youngsters getting a chance. I'd love nothing more. And hopefully one day we'll get to see it.
All right, well, that is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on everything we discussed today. We've got some super chats. First of all, from Tempest Fuji says, "Will be coming to my first game since the 80s, Villa at home. Hopefully, I'll see some of you after following you guys for so long. Feel like fam." You are family, Tempest. Big up to you. Thank you for all your support. And why have you not gone to a game since the 80s? I'd love to know. Did you move away? Has it been tough? Did you boycott like Daigle? I'd love to know what made you stay away for so long. But Villa, actually, I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. I'd love to be there as my grandpa's stone setting on that day. But
I'll be here.
I'm sure you'll be. You can see a lot of people maybe who have been on the channel, and if you want to just have a familiar voice, you can always tune into Daigle on the watch along.
Damn right.
During the game. King Oasis says,
"Oh my man,
proud to be a member of this channel. Big up to you all. This season will be an amazing one. Top 4 is a must. We need to sign a left winger in January." Yeah, I think that's obviously at the moment. Everyone is saying. Oh yeah, sorry. At the moment, that's what people are saying.
Yep.
Left wing. And I think right now, the window open tomorrow. I think that's definitely what we'll target. Apparently, Himothy saying we want Semenyo as our top target, which is interesting. I would say between now and January, I hate all this chat. We need to sign to it was all as if like we've made a decision now. If we don't do it in January, it's a failure. Like, let's just see how it plays out. January is still 3 months away. There is a lot of football to be played between now and January. So much can happen. Yeah, I want a new left winger, but we have Odebel, we have Tell. Let's just give them an opportunity and give them a chance to settle into the team. I think they've been playing better a bit recently. So let's see if they can provide something. Maybe come January, we won't even be talking about them. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I do think a left winger will come in. I really do, regardless of maybe it will allow one of those to go on loan or who knows, sell one, who knows. But I think January that will be looked into. And January is going to be a fascinating window for us, whether we're active, whether we buy in one big player or a lot, whatever we do. The way we are actually going to be negotiating deals is completely new to us and the football world. So it's going to be a very, very interesting window, and I cannot wait to see what we do.
I don't know how busy it's actually going to be. When you look at right now, I'll tell you why. Unless we're selling players, we are already having trouble with the European squad. We're already leaving Tell out. You know, you've got Decky to come back in. You've got Dragusin to come back in. He's not in the squad. So how can we keep adding and adding and adding?
I think players will go.
Who's going to go?
We'll see.
Who in the squad right now? Okay, maybe you'll say one of Tell or Odeberg goes
on loan.
Okay. Tell me right now of players we've used on the weekend who's leaving.
I'm being serious here. I'm being deadly serious. I honestly think Nottingham Forest are going to come in for Bissouma and Brennan Johnson.
Brennan, you reckon?
I seriously think.
January?
Seriously.
January.
Like I said, this is just me. I've not heard anything But if Nottingham, there's too many things. Ange Postecoglou wanted him at Tottenham, got him at Tottenham. He could go back to Nottingham, play regular football, and this is what I want to see from Spurs right now.
Okay, but that's even that. It's one signing, so you get a left winger in then.
So no, I'm saying Odeberg or Tell go on loan. Odeberg or Tell go on loan.
Okay.
Bissouma, which doesn't really pay a difference for European, but for Premier League numbers.
Oh yeah.
Which we have to remember as well. The Premier League team. I have a feeling Johnson.
Okay, but let me say you this: Johnson and let's say Johnson and Tell go, yeah. Decky and Dragusin take their place.
How does? Yeah, okay. You're talking Europe. I'm talking about Premier League. If Spurs are going for the Premier League right now, and this is what I'm saying that with people like Brennan Johnson. This isn't me saying I want him gone or anything. What I want to see from Tottenham Hotspur now, with this new setup that we have, and see if there's a difference in it. If players like a Brennan Johnson, just for example, just using him right now, if a team come in and put a bid in for him, do Spurs go, no, you need to give a lot more, or are they going to allow Frank to say, do you know what? If he goes, I can then use that to get into him. I want to see Spurs actually be ruthless. And if there's players that decent money comes in for them and they're replaceable or upgradable, then you act on it. So I'm not saying that Brennan Johnson. Well, I've been saying this since the summer, or not the summer, since Ange got appointed.
I said in the summer, if Ange gets sacked, I would be more open to selling Johnson, because I think Johnson was a very big beneficiary of how Ange liked to attack and how he liked to play and getting in those back post tap-ins. And Ange was very focused on getting in behind, getting a winger to the touchline, cut it back to the back post, and finishing right. And Johnson was obviously a massive beneficiary of that. But if it's not so tailored to him, will he be as effective? And when he's not doing those things, you know, how effective is he?
Yeah, but then now you're thinking, I'm thinking what will benefit Spurs. If Brennan Johnson went to Nottingham Forest again, and Ange was still there, I don't care what he does for Ange Postecoglou or how productive he'll be for Ange. I'll be like, we've got XYZ amount of money now.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I think I was saying in the summer I would be more open to letting Johnson go.
Okay, no, sorry, my bad. But we'll see what happens. But I think there could be some. I think we will clear some people out in January.
I just don't know who it's going to be.
It's just me being super positive again, isn't it?
I'm looking at the squad and trying to see where is this big clear out coming from, apart from players who are already not in the squad anyway. And you already saw what a big story it was leaving Tell out. I don't think we make big signings and not want to put him in the Champions League squad unless we sign another one, leave someone like Odeberg out. I think it's a big ask. We might get one in. I don't think there's going to be a big January. I really don't. Well, I think maybe one.
I think we get let's say an Ademola Lookman. Let's just say a Leao. Not saying that Leao with his wages is doable. It just depends how well AC Milan are doing and the fee. Again, we don't know what's going to happen in January with this new look ownership team. Vivian, Charlie, Vinay. Where no one has a clue.
I just think if you're expecting in a January window, when we know it's a window which is a lot harder to do business in, major changes from the hierarchy. I just think maybe it needs temporary expectations.
It's a lot harder to do business in January when you're approaching transfers the way we did.
True.
The way we have done for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I keep going back to the Liverpool. I will always go back to Liverpool Van Dijk. Could have got him in the summer. Couldn't get him. Jurgen Klopp was asked, we'll bring another defender in for you for the summer. Who do you want? Nope, we'll get him in January. January the 1st. Bang, they picked up the phone. What do you want? Done, whatever. We don't know. We honestly don't know what January will bring. Could January bring in a top left winger, just a top left winger, and that's Spurs business done, and it's quality over quantity? Or is it going to be loans? Is it going to be a decent left winger until we can really get the one in the start? No one knows. No one.
I mean, apart from a left winger, how much more business do you expect us to do?
Well, this is it. I mean, it depends. I mean, we're just talking about Richarlison.
Yeah, we've got Solanke and Moani there. I know they're injured now, but they'll be back.
But then that's why I was saying when I've heard and seen quoted about the connection with Ivan Toney, and possibly being
he's on 400 grand a week.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a big step. I mean we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But will he?
What is he worth spending that amount of money on? I know he's a good player.
Will he want 400 grand to come back?
Maybe not. But is it worth swapping our strikers to fit in Toney? I mean, I like Toney.
Toney under Frank, he'll get goals.
Not right, but this is my point. This is what I'm trying to make to Ben. Toney wasn't Toney before Thomas Frank, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean, he got him to where he is now with how he coached him. And I'm not saying he's a bad striker, but he had one amazing season. The other seasons were decent, nothing amazing. They were good. He's always been a good player, don't get me wrong. But there is no reason for me why Frank can't get that goal output that he got out of Toney out of the strikers we have. I don't see why.
No, you got fair. And as I've said, and I'll keep saying it, I actually think Solanke could do very, very well in this team.
Yeah.
I really do. But again, people say he's only had the one decent season, but he had a Semenyo supplying him constantly that season. Well, now he'll come into a Kudus, Simmons, and who knows, we get the left winger. Moani, we don't know really because he hasn't got going yet. Could be the answer, but I think we still would need 3 strikers.
Yeah, but again, I don't think Richarlison leaves in Jan. I'll be shocked if that happens.
Oh, so would I. But I'm saying if Ivan Toney was available, so people in the comments as well, if I said to you right now, Ivan Toney is available and he'll come, forget the wages, Ivan Toney will come to Tottenham Hotspur,
okay,
and work again under Frank, and Richarlison goes Orlando or wherever it may be.
If I'm just swapping, forget any other context. If I'm saying, would you swap Richarlison for Toney? Yeah, I probably would. That's fine. But you can't forget the other contexts. You just
said to forget the context, and now you're saying
I'm saying if you do, then yes. But
right.
But I'm saying if you add in all the other contexts, if you have to pay Toney 400 grand a week, if it's only on a 6-month loan.
The 6-month loan, no, it'd be permanent.
Like, I don't know. I just believe our strikers, quality-wise, for me, I think they all could be as good as Toney. I think Toney's good. Don't get me wrong. I really like Toney. Maybe he's got a bit more quality than our strikers at the moment, but I don't think it's that much. And I wouldn't go spending big money and big wages on him just for maybe a minor upgrade. If you're going to spend, my point is, if you're going to spend 400 grand a week, and you're going to say bring him for, I don't know how much it's going to cost.
I wouldn't want him at Spurs for 400 grand a week. If we're going to pay someone like that, there's only one man I'd want it going to.
Right, my point is you can probably get a massive upgrade on our strikers for that, rather than just Ivan Toney, who's maybe a minor upgrade.
Well, yeah, but we're full stop. We're not paying 400 grand a week, period, right now. They would heavily have to subsidise it, but if there is only one player that is worth 400k if we could bring him home, and that's the only one that I would even be like, right, pay him what he wants. But yeah, if we could get Ivan Toney on reduced wages, or they make they subsidise some of it and pick up a large percentage of it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to do that.
Let's say it was 50-50, so we're paying 200. Okay. Or the same as Romero, 190 or whatever it is.
And I'll consider it. All right, there's a super chat from JBHK10 says, I agree with Daigle. Palhinha in Jan is a no-brainer.
Big up, brother.
So start with JBK. Also, Brian, obviously you can't see the comments here,
I can't.
but that you have been getting a lot of praise.
Oh, well, thank you,
for the way
people.
you look.
For what? For this? For the
You
shave?
look. Everyone says you look 10 years younger. You look. Some people said you look 25. Some
wish.
people are saying now Levy's gone, you're no longer doing a Levy cosplay.
Well, no, do you know what? I would have shaved my hair when I do this. I always shave my hair when I do this, but my wife has to shave the back of it, and she's not here. And let's just say my mum hates it when I shave my head, so she'd probably behead me with the razor, not do the back very well. So that's why. But I don't like it like this. But it was getting irritable. But thank you for the comments. It's very, very nice to receive
King
them.
Oasis says Daigle looks dapper.
I can see Scott M's...
Too busy. NT says Daigle aged 40 years younger. My guy. A lot of praise, Brian, for your new look.
Oh, what can I say?
People are happy.
well, if I'm making people happy...
It's just
Then-
part of the new glowing Brian.
That's it. I am
It's
glowing.
the post-Levy glow.
It is. It is the new chairman or the new the post Levy era is very much agreeing with me. Very much agreeing with me.
Fantastic. All right, let's get into some react. So there's been some stuff on social media over the last 24 hours surrounding Spurs, which we're going to react to on X. So let's first of all, this is Hammers Hub. Their quote, power quote from Kudus on. He did this interview for Sports Illustrated, really good interview, and they've taken a quote about him. They're talking about a criticism he got while he was at West Ham. He says, being talked about almost every day on TV, it's hard to deal with. People who don't even know you, they literally just watch you for maybe 90 minutes, and then there's a judgment on who you are and what you are. Personally, I don't think that's fair. People, the best people talk about you are the ones who spend the most time with you almost every day. But that's part of the job, and as athletes we have to deal with that. That's why I say don't be famous, but you can still use the fame to be the best of your ability to have an impact on people's lives. Obviously he came with a bit of a narrative, didn't he? A bit of a West Ham fans were saying you've signed him but he's a bad egg, things will turn wrong for him. He's lazy. I mean, obviously that's not the Kudus we've seen. He thinks he was unfairly judged at West Ham. So what do you think about what Kudus is saying here?
I think he's bang on the money. Listen, we all go to football, and obviously there's chanting, there's banter, players unfortunately do get abuse. Some of it may be warranted about their game or being off form, but when it gets personal, that's
I feel like there was a real character attack.
Oh, there was a complete...
When he was at West Ham.
When he first came in the first season...
He's playing badly,
no.
He's lazy, he didn't try, all these things.
I mean, I again, when you look at it, that he got 4 assists for them in total last season. He's done that in 7 games, 7 Premier League games for Tottenham Hotspur. When you look at that... I went back into it, and they were actually blaming Kudus for his lack of quality of delivering. It's like, well, you didn't have a real recognised striker. You went through 2 managers who didn't really play the kind of football.
Also playing him out on the left the whole season.
To accommodate both. Exactly. So you're going to be...
disgruntled, maybe.
Yeah, you're going to be disgruntled. You're not going to give your best performances if you're being moved into a different position that doesn't... How many times did we do that with players where we put them in a position just because they could play there, not because it was their strongest position?
Do you think that element of it, since he's come to Tottenham, the way he hustles and harries and presses and works hard for the team in, I would say most games. So some games maybe you could say you can criticise him, didn't help Porro enough, but most games he does. Mm-hmm. Has that side of the game maybe impressed you or surprised you?
Very much so.
He maybe came with a reputation. Is he a bit of a luxury player? Obviously, a player who wows on the ball. But West Ham fans were saying, off the ball doesn't do much. So that side of the game, has that really surprised? Has it either surprised you?
Well, it has, because one of the biggest players, when you mention the word luxury players, one of the first names that come to my head is David Ginola.
Oh. Funny you say that. Someone yesterday in the comments compared him to Ginola.
Because you mentioned, honestly, I had the privilege of watching him week in, week out, home, away. he didn't defend. It was like literally, even Spurs, the manager was saying, "Listen, David, you stay there. So when we can counter, we get to you." He doesn't. I mean, there's been games where he hasn't, but a majority of the games, his defensive work has really impressed me, and his strength on the ball and his non-stop run, like just his power and trying to get him off the ball. It reminds me of Dembele a bit. You just couldn't get him. He had 3 players around him at Leeds on the floor, didn't he? He still comes out with the ball.
Incredible. Some things he does. And he wriggles out situations.
I'm sure there's a lot of West Ham fans going, "This is just the beginning. This is the honeymoon period. He's gonna." But I think with the manager we've got and the way he does it with players, and I'm not just using Kudus as an example, I think with the whole team, we were saying on Sunday, weren't we, this team looks so together as one, pulling all in the same direction, that I think they're all there to support each other, and I think Kudus is going to reap the benefits from it and go strength to strength. And he's using this negativity to say, this is what he's doing right. He'll be like, all right, this is what you think, West Ham? I'll show you what I can do.
He said in the interview with Sports Illustrated that one of the reasons he chose Tottenham was what Frank does with his forwards. He's seeing on the evidence, what Frank does with the forwards he'd done at Brentford. And that was a big reason why he looked at Tottenham and was like, yeah, I think he can develop me and he can make me better.
I don't know what more I could say about Thomas Frank. This, as you know, and everyone will know when I speak about him, and I've spoken about this with you on and off camera many, many times, the key things that I wanted Frank for was tactical adaptability, the way that he coaches and literally brings these players on levels, and his man management skills. And you can see by Palhinha and him saying what they say, you can see the hugs and embraces he has with the team. People can go on about the style of football, but Thomas Frank will build something very, very successful here. And I think Kudus is going to be a very, very big player for us for years to come.
All right. Next up, this is the Who Scored team of the season for this season so far. Kudus getting the highest rating for a right winger so far. Do you think that's accurate? You reckon he's been the best right winger in the league so far? I guess you got maybe Saka. I mean, he's probably better than Saka so far after 7 games. You got Salah's been off the boil
completely.
I mean, who else could you got? Elanga hasn't really done it so far. Who's Chelsea's right winger? Stavio.
Yeah, but Joe, what it is, I'll say this, Sim, is...
I mean, there's a good case to say Kudus.
There's a massive case for it, because what we got to look at as well, I saw we've all waxed lyrical about him be so far ahead with successful take-ons and whatever, but then I can't remember who tweeted it, but they started going on about Kudus has been the most he's had the most unsuccessful take-ons as well, and I'm like, do you know what? That's not really a bad stat to have, because it means he's trying to do something. He isn't just sitting there and playing it easy.
As long as he's got the most successful.
Exactly, he's got the most successful, but he's been distributed when he's as well. And I'm like, do you know what? This is what you want players to do. You want them to try and take their man on and create a space and do something.
I agree. I wouldn't say that stat in isolation is a good thing.
But
it's not a bad thing in isolation.
Well, you look at it, wingers we've had recently have been getting the ball, running back and passing it sideways.
Put it this way, Johnson probably is not high on that stat.
He's probably very, 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 very far down on it.
He doesn't try it.
No.
So he never loses the
ball. And I'm not just talking about now, I'm talking about in previous seasons gone by.
Yeah.
We've had wingers that haven't been direct and want to get to the byline and get a cross in.
Now the problem is if that stat was high, but he wasn't, but the successful take-ons was low,
then you look at it a different way.
You're like, okay, he's just giving the ball away, not doing anything. But the thing is, he's also top of the most successful.
Exactly.
So that, for me, just goes to show, okay, he'll try a lot, and a lot of it will come off. And
he had 6 for 6 against Leeds, didn't he?
6 out of 6. Yeah, so, I think he started to get more effective with
it.
Efficient, that's the word.
I mean, you look at what he did against Burnley as well, the 2 assists for...
Yeah.
And he absolutely ran the show that game, didn't he?
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at that Who Scored team, I mean, look, it's only a Who Scored thing, but, Haaland and Semenyo are the other front three. No one would debate those two at the moment.
That's not a bad front line, is it, in all honesty?
I think he's got a fair shout to be in there. Tottenham Academy put out a video essay. Dane Scarlett scoring a free kick yesterday. Against Newcastle in a under-21 friendly. What do you think? I mean, how do you think Dane Scarlett feels right now being back with the under-21s?
Do you know what? This guy, a few years ago, I thought he was going to break through and be like the next big thing. I really did. I can't remember who we had up front at the time, or was it with Andrew? I think it might have been with the start of Andrew or still. I can't even remember when.
Made his debut under Mourinho, unbelievably.
Jesus, it may have been Conte. It may have even been Conte, where I was like, I want to see him used more because I think he's got a big future. And it's just not working with him. Do you know what? He's even gone on loans. I can remember he went on loan at Portsmouth, where he started incredibly, and the manager absolutely waxed lyrical about him. But then they just trail off. They just whether he's picked up an injury or his form's just dropped or his attitude. He is one that I think is destined for the outdoor, isn't he? He just can't get
Unfortunately, maybe he needs like a parrot style move.
Yeah, maybe. Do you know what? I am actually really enjoying, not just from Spurs, but I'm loving English talent going abroad and getting there, being willing to go abroad and take that challenge, rather than just waiting around to go to an English loan. Troy Parrott worked for wonderfully. Maybe that is what he needs. Maybe he needs an international loan.
Yeah, it can't be good for his kind of confidence being back with under 21s, where he's played on probably 3 or 4 years ago. He was playing under 21s, and he's supposed to be well away from that, and now 4 years later
he's strapped back in.
Back there, not even on loan. He's back with under 21s. So it must be kind of demoralising. But look, it's a nice free kick. So,
it's a very good free kick.
Who Scored have done their team of the season in Europe's top 5 leagues. So this is throughout the whole of Europe.
Yep.
Look who's at centre back.
I can't see it. Luka
Vuskovic. Incredible. How mad is that? So, first of all, this is a guy who's playing for a team who's middle of the range in the Bundesliga.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, not even that good. They were tipped to have a relegation battle this season, right? He's come in as an 18-year-old on loan, and the way he's performing, he's in currently the team of the season in top 5 leagues. That's how well he's performing, according to Who Scored. Now, obviously, again, Who Scored rating isn't gospel.
Yep.
But I don't think it's a coincidence that he's there. You know what I mean? You have to have some sort of statistical, like feats to be in that position. And, I mean, it's quite incredible as an 18-year-old to be there, in my opinion. I mean, he's already got his first goal. Mm-hmm. He seems to be absolutely just smashing every kind of stage of his career, every challenge that comes towards him. You know, Croatia at 15, Poland at 16, Belgium at 17, and now in Germany, one of Europe's top 5 leagues at 18.
Yep.
All apparently Hamburg fans have completely fallen in love with him, saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. This guy is a star in the making, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And Joe, I as we were going into this window before the loans, I actually wanted Vuskovic to go on loan and Ashley Phillips to stay. Obviously, they've both gone out on loan. But I think what we're doing with this one and with Vuskovic, it is a very, very smart move for Tottenham's future. To, like you said, the leagues he's gone in, he has just improved and grown, and now he's having a real challenge in one of the top 5 leagues, as you mentioned, and not in one of the super clubs where it's all plain sailing. And he's taken to it like a duck to water, hasn't he? He let's face it, he is an absolute unit. He is a machine, and we forget how young he is for his stature and everything. And this education he's getting across Europe is only going to benefit Tottenham. And you look at, we're talking about Dragusin and Takai and everyone coming back, and Danso obviously there. You're going to add him and Phillips next season.
If that was a recall in Jan, would you do it? We'll just let him just see out the season. Get as much what do you call it experience as he can.
I'd keep him there. If put it way again, it's only because I think Vuskovic is going to be an international superstar. I genuinely do, like an international superstar.
Martin Yell said he thinks he's better than Romero.
Wow, I mean, when that man speaks, I listen. But I will say I am just such a huge fan of Ashley Phillips. He's an England international in the making.
Who goes under radar.
I think he had a great loan move. Every loan move he's had in England, he is more suited and ready for the Premier League just because of his experience in the Championship and everything than Vuskovic is. Don't get me wrong, I think Vuskovic within a few years will surpass him. but I think Ashley Phillips is a quality defender in the making. I just hope he really gets his opportunity. You look at it right now, the future is very, very bright for Tottenham. Honestly, it really is.
Next up, Cuti Romero on international duty for Argentina. What is this tea they all drink? They all drink this tea with this. It's got a very specific cup in it. What's it called? They all drink it. All the South Americans drink this tea. I don't know why you have to drink it in this specific cup. This tea. But are we looking? You reckon? Maybe. I reckon in less than a year's time, we're looking at the Argentina's ex-captain.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, who else is there?
DePaul maybe. I mean, Otamendi's there. But they're getting on a bit as well.
It can only be.
It's going to be Romero.
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be. And I would imagine. I would imagine as well that Messi will have a big say in who is the heir to the throne. And I think he has spoken openly about what he thinks Romero is to that country and what he is to the national team. So I can only see it being our very own Cuti Romero.
If you listen to any of the Argentinians players speak, they all say Romero is the best defender in the world. They all say it. They're all convinced by it.
They could be convinced of it, but there's a lot of patriotism.
It's funny, in this country, it's true, but in this country, like, there's still so much dismissiveness of Romero, I feel. Like, he's still so underrated.
He is. And Joe, right now, again, with Spurs players, and let's hope it happens again, that we come back with a clean bill of health from international duty. He's looking sharper, he's looking happier, he's looking fitter, and now he's got the honour of wearing the armband for Tottenham Hotspur. He's just going to go from strength to strength.
Absolutely, and so happy that he's our captain, and I think, I think being Argentina captain is only going to give him that more responsibility down the line.
Is he vice captain at the moment?
I don't know. Argentina vice captain. Vice captain is Romero and Emi Martinez.
There you go.
So it's going to be Romero, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next up, Rising Stars says a future Tottenham legend, Luca Williams-Barnett. This is his brace against Newcastle for the under-21s. He says at 16 years old, the under-21 level is already too easy for him. Remember the effing name. Look at these goals. Lovely. Get it a bit big. So this is Luca Williams-Barnett. This is his first goal. Look at this lovely finish, left-footed. And then you can see the second goal here. The way he just takes it. Oh,
he's lethal outside. He's more lethal outside the area than he's inside.
Okay, he drives it into the corner. Obviously, he got his first taste of first-team football. But do you reckon this is a player that's going to get fast-tracked to the first team? I know he's already made his first-team debut. But is this a player... Like, I know we kind of had this thing with Mikey Moore and we put him in the first team and mixed results last season. I wouldn't say it was a failure, but played well some games, not so well some others. Like, what do we learn from that experience? Do we learn that we got to give more players like Luca Williams-Barnett a chance in the first team straight off the bat, or is it? Do we learn we have to be a bit more patient with these kind of players?
Sure, I think right now we're in a tricky kind of situation. And the only reason I say tricky is we look at it in the past. We've had players like this breaking through where players are playing in the leagues way above their age, and they're finding it so easy like this, but then they're not really getting the opportunities. I remember when, again, we'll go back to Dane Scarlett, when Antonio Conte was playing him. He wouldn't have Sonny or Kane alongside him. He'd have other youngsters around him, so it wasn't like you're bleeding him in around quality to see what he could do. And obviously we're at a time now where if you play the youngsters and they lose, it's like, well, why did you play him and not play a first teamer? And the other way round. So I think at the moment, especially with where we are right now, as in how the season's got off to a start, put it this way, I wouldn't mind seeing him against Newcastle. We watched him against Doncaster, and he came on for, like 4 or 5 minutes. I'd have no problem seeing him for half a game.
I don't know if Newcastle's the best. Newcastle's such a physical game.
Yeah, but sometimes the away...
against Joe Linton and Bruno and Tamari.
Sometimes that's the way to. If you want to sink or swim, chuck them in the deep end, whatever analogy you want to use. If we're saying, do we need to give this guy game time? We're not going to do it in the. He's not in the Champions League squad. We're not going to do it in the Premier League.
He can play in the Champions League.
Okay. So we're not going to do it in the Premier League, especially with the games we've got coming up. So would you do it in the Carabao Cup and give a player a half a game rest? If we want to give these players, we've got to find the right times to do this, because we don't want to be in the position where we've had people of this calibre and they've walked through the door or left because...
He'll be 16.
I know. I'm not saying right now he is, but I'm saying...
I know Dowman and Rio, they're all getting chances and doing well. But it's still...
And they're doing it in the Premier League.
They're doing it in the Premier League. And that's fair enough. But you still just got to make sure you're doing it in the right way.
I mean, we did it with Mikey Moore, didn't we? We did it in Europa League. When we went in the Europa League, remember I was saying that's why I wanted to go in the Europa League, to bleed the youngsters in and see what they can do. Well, we're in the Champions League now, so I think the Carabao Cup is that kind of Europa League kind of standard that we're going in right now, where players like him could get an opportunity. Maybe you're right, a Newcastle way isn't worth giving him a half, but maybe half of a half or something. There's no extra time, is there? So it's not, okay, it'll go straight to penalties. But he is smashing it out the park at the moment.
He's 16. He was asked why he supports Tottenham. He said Paul Gascoigne. Do you believe him?
well,
16. So he was born in...
Well, you got to think maybe his parents have spoken about Paul Gascoigne.
2009 was he born in?
But yeah, you got to think maybe his parents spoke non-stop about Paul Gascoigne and showed them, like when I was growing up, my parents would show me.
As well.
My parents used to show me. My dad would show me Glenn Hoddle, Dave Mackay, Alan Gilzine, all of those. My grandpa would go even further back. So maybe his parents. I mean, Paul Gascoigne would have been. You just need to watch a 20-minute clip of him.
He probably doesn't know what VHS is, but he knows who Paul Gascoigne is.
Damn right. Damn right.
Big up to Luke Williams, Barnett, future Tottenham star. I hope to see him getting a few minutes, a few opportunities, but he is 16. But it's amazing to see him performing at this level and just be too good for it.
Well, he did okay when he first came. He almost got a pre-assist for the goal that was disallowed offside. Yeah. So he got involved in the 4 minutes that he was on. He actually did bits, so who knows?
Next up, it's from Owen saying, fair play, Leeds fans. Our away fans have been superb. Just need to improve our home atmosphere drastically. So this is on TikTok. If you scroll down, these are comments by Leeds fans. It was a video saying rate the Spurs fans. And these are Leeds fans leaving comments saying, best fans we've seen at Elland this season. Could hear them all game. Says another one, better than most, do have a good banter. And they outsung us like half-assed. We all love Leeds every 10 minutes. Last 2 games at Elland Road have been poor by us Leeds fans. So a lot of praise by the Leeds fans for Tottenham's away section. Yeah. And I don't know if you were listening to the game, you could hear Tottenham fans throughout the whole 90 minutes. And even Thomas Frank commented on them after the game. He said, wow, what a support. How good were they today, he said, about the Tottenham fans. That's lovely to hear, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, you know very well from all your travels, and when I come with you in the park, the away days are incredible. Incredible. The new stadium, there's been games where the atmosphere has been incredible, but there are moments where it's not for whatever reason. But hopefully now, with return of the shelf, Spurs song sheets and everyone coming together, and more atmosphere-driven things being spoken about, that could soon change. That could soon change. But you're definitely right. You would say that those away fans outsing the home fans in a home game for consistently non-stop going. And I wish the home stadium would improve its atmosphere, because we want to make that place a fortress, and the fans will have everything to do with it.
Absolutely. Next up, we got some data from Data MB about Pedro Porro, and this season he says Porro's in the 95th percentile for possession won, progressive passes, progressive carries, aerial duel percentage won. That's quite interesting. And accurate crosses. No fullback has more passes into the box, crosses to the goalkeeper's box, or through passes completed in Europe's top 7 leagues. So Porro, a lot of people are saying he's maybe underperformed so far this season, but what do you think of his start to the season?
I think Joe.
I mean, if you click on the picture of his stats, it does say defensive duels won. He's only in the 41st percentile, so that's something he's clearly to work on.
That's something he's got to work on. And you know what? We saw the other thing with him about sliding tackles first. There was other thing about his defensive duties that he was first in the majority of them. I think when he's had Kudus helping him and being that support, he can be a fantastic defender. But he is he's our outlet, like Trent Alexander-Arnold was for Liverpool from the back, even though you got Romero doing it as well. But I mean, for crosses and quality like that. But it's defensive. Sometimes he gets found out. Obviously, against Bournemouth, he got terrorised. He got absolutely terrorised. But in that, I think Frank got that wrong, and Spence would have been better in that game. And Destiny on the left, whether Destiny was as fit and ready as when he started at Brighton. I think we have a luxury now of those three fullbacks, and there will be certain games at right back where Spence is better suited than Porro, and it's whether we use it. But then when you do that defensively with Spence, you're missing what you gain with Spence defensively. You lose offensively because of Porro. So it's a real tricky one. But I love Pedro Porro with all my heart. He bleeds blue and white. His passion, commitment, drive, energy, everything is so fully focused on us. And I do think he's a wonderful player.
Yeah, and I still think he's underrated as well. I think a lot of people still kind of think this is Porro from when he first came. I think he's improved so much since then.
Night and
day. He's
day.
become such a consistent fullback. On the ball, since Trent has left, I think he's probably the best on the ball fullback in the league in terms of his ability, offensive fullback, I should say. His ability to cross, his shooting as well. So I think he's doing a good job, and I think Frank is definitely a perfect manager.
There was another tweet there. There was another tweet, not that you've got there, I don't know if you have, but there was, I don't know if it was Spurs Global or someone that said, if you had to rate what we know now, Pedro Porro as a signing out of 10, what would you give him?
8.
I'll be 8.59. And you got to remember when he first came, I didn't think he could defend at all. I thought, oh my God, what we done? Let's make him a right winger. I just love him. So if I had to rate him as a signing, he would be an 8.5, 9 for me.
8.5, 9. I think he's I think he's a phenomenal fullback. The problem is we've just been a mess ever since he's come up until now. Next up from Data and B, this is a comparison between Kudus and Semenyo. Look how much Kudus overperforms Semenyo by. The only thing Semenyo overperforms him at is probably the most important thing, and that's goals.
Yes, I was just about to ask you which one is Kudus, because I can't see my eyes, but green is Kudus. Green is Kudus.
Purple is Semenyo. How mad is it? But look at Kudus's chart.
Yep.
He's literally at the top of all of them.
Yep. He's
literally right at the top of every single one. But goals is one obviously he isn't. But as soon as he adds goals to his game, he's literally the most perfect winger.
Yeah, completely. And you look at it, and Semenyo, look what he did to us. He didn't score in that. Or did he score in that game? Or was it his shot that was deflected?
Semenyo was Evan Nilsson.
There you go. So he didn't score against it, but he literally tore us.
Apart, yeah.
He absolutely tore us a new one, and he did against Fulham. He was amazing he's been Bournemouth's star player, and he's very, very direct of what he does, and he is their biggest goal threat, isn't he? Or they've got a few at Bournemouth right now. But you look at that graph. Basically,
Kudus is like good at everything but scoring.
Who was that graph you were doing this with last summer? I think it was it Johnson and someone, or Morgan Gibbs-White and someone, where you had this graph out. Maybe it was Eze. Maybe, let's not talk about him. But that is very, very impressive when you think about how much of a flyer Semenyo has got off to.
Yeah, you think as well how good Semenyo is at dribbling. He outperforms him with that. How good he is at assisting and stuff. He outperforms him with that. It looks like from this, Kudus is way more creative than Semenyo. But obviously Semenyo scores a lot more goals than him. So obviously that's something that Kudus is. I think Kudus, though, in recent weeks, I think if you look at the Wolves game, he nearly scored. He got hit the bar, and then he got the goal that was offside. Obviously, did score against Leeds. So I think he's getting in more goal-scoring positions.
Could have had a couple against Leeds if he had taken his time, couldn't he?
Yeah, could have had a couple. So it seems as though they're getting him in more goal-scoring positions, I feel. Dayton B says, most goals prevented in the Premier League this season, and Vicario tops the chart. So this is basically, they calculate the amount of XG a keeper has stopped from going in the back of the net. So it's basically the highest level chances. And I mean, are you surprised by that? Vicario sits top. So he's saved the most kind of goals, essentially, from going in. So,
first of all, well done, Vicario, because sometimes you say you don't see it in the eyes or the stats don't back. What I will say is a lot of that from the Bournemouth game, because against Bournemouth, it was just raining chances for them, wasn't it? And clear-cut ones.
Yeah, so the only problem I would say with this stat specifically is the reason why... So, you know, it's not necessarily all the top keepers at the top, because the keepers down the bottom, they obviously face more shots.
Exactly.
So they're obviously going to save more goals because they have more shots to face.
Exactly. Then you look at it, we've said all season that apart from that Bournemouth game, we really have limited the kind of opportunities teams had. Apart from the couple of set pieces at Wolves and Leeds, a lot of the goals have been the odd chance that they've got. But Bournemouth, they were just carving us open, and he was outstanding that game. But I will say he comes in for criticism, and I've given him some recently. But to be top of that list, fair play to him.
It means he's still doing his job from shot stopping wise.
Yeah.
He's still making a lot of saves, and I know he fumbled that one against Brighton outside the box, but I think most of his shot stopping still been at a good quality. And against Leeds, made 2 crucial saves, didn't he? Another stat comparison about Vicario as well says he's first for prevented goals. His save percentage is also first. Touches first, passes completed first, and short passes completed. No keeper has completed more passes or short passes in Europe's major leagues.
That does surprise me with his distribution. He's
made the most passes out of any keeper.
Yeah, but the long the short passes. I think, you know what, with the goalkeepers now, and this is across all leagues as well. Short passes even being included in these little things they do with the centre backs, isn't it? Which they're obviously always going to complete.
But I think that also gives more context to the stat before, because he is also top for save percentage. So that means that, so before you could say, if you're top of the goals prevented, but your save percentage is low, that means you're still letting in a lot of goals, but you're preventing a lot because you're making a lot of saves. But obviously our goal conceded is quite low.
Yeah.
His save percentage is still high, which means he's not letting a lot past him. And he's also making... and he's also preventing a lot of goals, so he's actually saving us points.
He's saving us points, but the ones he's conceded, he's had an impact in some of them.
He has. I mean, I would say, in terms of points cost, I wouldn't really maybe make the Wolves one, because I say Wolves are getting the better of us anyway. But I think Brighton, I reckon if he doesn't concede that, I think we win. I think we win that game. And I think against Leeds, obviously it didn't cost us anything. So
I do think, seeing those stats there, we've had the conversations since I've been here, and saying I think this conversation about Kinski number 1 is becoming more and more apparent that this could be a thing. That gives me a lot more confidence in Vicario. I will genuinely say it. Those stats can't be laughed at, and yes, people, including myself, may have given him criticism and feeling it right, but those stats back him up. So well done, Big Vic.
Someone in the reply said Hugo Lloris reincarnated.
Yeah, when it comes to distribution, I thought once Hugo Lloris left, my heart could deal with a goalkeeper's distribution. He does give me those vibes. He does when it comes to distribution.
All right, well, that is Reacts. That's all we got time to react to. That's all we got for today. Any other super chats I'm missing? So, yes, Mal says, please, for the love of God, sell Richarlison. All right, a bit much. All right, yes, we're going to end off on a game.
Oh, here we go. I've got no idea.
We are going to end off on a game. It's going to be me versus Brian, Well, we're going to maybe work it out together. So this is a game which, by the way, credit to one of our commenters. I can't remember who it was. He said, play Scrandle.
Is this going to be the new bingo thing?
So, you know what? We are Tottenham to here at We Are Tottenham TV. We don't just read our comments, we listen and we learn. And we are going to play some Scrandle. And we're going to play with Brian Daigle. So, what Scrandle is you have, it's a randomizer of 2 Matchday meals you get at certain grounds. So it'll be, for example, a pie and mashup
West Ham
versus a hot dog at Borussia Dortmund.
Right.
And you have to vote what was voted more popular.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I thought the way this was getting built out behind the scene, I was making it was being made to feel like it was blooming Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, I can't really see what it...
Sammy, you might have to let us know what they actually are.
This is tough to read, 1 sec. So it's... I can see sausage, pea, chips and gravy.
You're going to have to read it because my eyes
But
are...
can you see the food, though?
I can see the food.
You can see the food. That's the main thing. What looks better? The chicken and chips. I don't know where they are. One's at where's the writing's not readable.
Chicken chips from Wembley.
Wembley.
And the sausage and chips and gravy from Stourbridge.
Stourbridge.
So wait a minute,
Surely
are we
those
guessing...
chicken and chips.
Are we guessing who we think is the most popular?
Which one's more popular?
I would go for the one that isn't at Wembley, the Stourbridge one.
The Stourbridge.
Yeah. No, mate, when I used to go non-league or I used to go to Barnet as a kid, I used to...
But what looks better to you?
Oh, mate, the Stourbridge.
Yeah?
Yeah, mate.
All right, we're going Stonebridge. Let's see if Brian knows the common people. He does!
I want to live
God,
like
Brian.
common people. Well, who sang that? Was that Blur or was that Pulp?
No, it was Pulp. Pulled, what was it? No, it's Polo a Lebo.
From Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Fish and chips from City.
Man City.
Yeah.
So
What's more
what the
popular?
hell is that?
It's like a
what is
chicken
it?
and rice from Barcelona,
Oh.
or a fish and chips at Man City.
Or Barca, or now will the people go with it because it's
What do the chat think? Let's see if the chat know. Chat aren't saying anything. All right, let's.
I'm gonna go. Actually, I went last time. You go first.
I've got a feeling the fish and chips are going to be more popular. You know.
All right. So for fairness, I'll go Barca just so it's different.
All right. So we're going. What are we going? Let's go fish and chips. Come on.
All right. Come
on.
All right. There you go.
Let's go. All right, do one each.
Okay. What the hell is that on the
So
left?
that is a lasagna. No, what is that? No, it's a kebab. Is it
I don't even.
Share box from Fairford Town.
chicken share box from Fairford Town's on the right?
Yeah, on the
And
right.
on
What
the
the hell
left?
is on the left?
20 ham from FC 2020.
An F20 ham.
Mate,
from
that
FC
looks
20.
absolutely horrific.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Just kind of feel like why it could be that.
Mate, mate, that look.
Surely
honestly,
if it's from 20 ham,
yeah,
from FC 20, sorry,
yeah.
like it must be a favourite.
No, I'm going for the one on the right.
Chicken.
Yeah.
I think it's the one on the left.
All right, so there we go.
No, we're going on the one. Brian's selection here. We're taking it in turns.
Oh,
Ah,
damn it.
come on.
You've gone too
Come on.
Fuck me.
I told you.
So we got on the right loaded hash browns from Corinthians.
Loaded hash browns from Corinthians. Maybe I can see it better on the screen.
Casuals. Oh, what's that different? Or chicken gyro.
Chicken
from
gyro.
Hull.
From Hull.
Chicken Giro from
I
Rocky.
can see it better on the screen. I reckon. Oh man. I reckon the loaded hash browns.
All right, so well, I would have gone for that one, but we're doing for
chicken gyros.
yeah, we're going.
Hull.
Yeah, that
I
really.
don't know. The Hull. Can I trust Hull to do chicken gyros?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know.
Whole, you think of like the pasties and.
Oh, it
yeah.
has price as well. On the left it's £6.75 and on the right it's £5. Hash browns for £5 must be expensive, isn't it?
Well, chicken. I mean, any chicken gyros that's decent at £6 is not going to be. So it depends which way you want to look at it.
Oh, we're going hash browns.
All right, Sim's gone hash brown.
Oh, it's a gyros.
No, it's gone back. What? All right, it's got a pizza.
Pizza from Where?
Harrogate.
It was Harrogate. I can see
Okay.
that. A pizza, pepperoni pizza from Harrogate.
And
Chip sausage and curry sauce.
From Murphy Town.
oh, mate, it's going to be the chips and cut, mate. Without
Yeah,
a doubt,
surely
it's the
it's a
chips
chips
and
and-
curry sauce. Surely. Yes.
Oh, well done, Brian. Easy.
Pulled pork and gravy roll from St. Brelades.
Oh yeah, St. Brelade's pulled pork and gravy, £4, or an £8 gaffer burger from Tilbury. So a £4 pulled pork and gravy roll, or an £8 gaffer burger from Tilbury. Surely a £4 gravy pulled pork.
Is that? It's your choice. It's your round.
No one is happy with an £8 gaffer burger. £8? No chance.
Let's go on.
You get a £4. I'm getting a £4 pulled pork gravy roll.
Go on. Let's see.
Gravy roll. Oh
Oh
no,
my
it's a
God.
gaffer burger.
Is that, mate?
What the hell is a gaffer burger? Oh, it's a fried chicken burger on top of a beef burger.
Oh, that does sound
hell.
incredible.
I
All right,
didn't-
what have we got here, Sammy?
Chipper.
Chipper from Club Olympia. What are these? Donuts? Pretzels? I don't know what they are. Reggae wings and peri chips from Slough Town.
Oh, that does sound lovely. That does.
Yeah,
seem
but
lo-
these are 25p. The chipper.
Oh.
These are £10.
Yeah, but they look £10.
They do look £10.
They
yeah.
do look £10, but
Guy's on his balancing him on his head.
do you know what? So, what are the two teams?
Slough Town and Club Olympia. Where is Club Olympia? Is that Greece?
That's got to be Greece.
Is that Greece?
That's got to be Greece. Do you know what? I always think the non-league food, like I was saying, I think.
Paraguay.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to go with the.
They
I'm
look
going to.
dry. They do look a bit
I'm
dry.
going to go. I'm going non-league. I'm going Slough. I'm going for the chicken.
Reggae wings and peri
Yeah.
chips. Well done. Well done, Brian.
Mate, non-league football is
We're
good.
currently 4-3. We're in green. Next up, I can see Chicago. Yeah, I can see it. Chicago Fire. Chicago-style hot dog. The bloody pickle's bigger than the hot dog. That's ridiculous. What's that about? No one wants a pickle bigger than the hot dog. Or CSD Municipal, a churrasquito, whatever that is. It's a beef with chermel sauce, sweet onions, black beans, tortilla. That looks like it's going to get me on the toilet for a long time. But I don't know if I want a hot dog. That's a pickle that's bigger than my hot dog.
It's mate. Do you know what?
That's £1.50 on the right. It's £7.80.
North America with hot dogs. It's a massive part of. Even in Canada, it's a massive part of like going to the ball game. It's a massive staple.
I think Chicago style hot dog. Is it me or you? Oh my word! 16%. No one wanted that pickle.
There you go. That bloody hell, that looks like a big burger with
So
just
it
the one
is
onion.
A brisk sandwich from Atlanta United in the US, or a shredded duck from Wycombe Wanderers.
Oh
That
mate,
is
always.
posh.
I'm going.
The
all day.
hoisin sauce.
Mate, you know me, and mate,
The hoisin.
You know
I
me
like
and
the
hoisin.
hoisin.
I'm going shredded duck all day long.
They love that over in Wycombe. Go on, shredded duck. Yeah.
Honestly, go with
easy.
like lower league
Easy.
football. It's always lower league English football.
What was that? A pea soup?
Couple of mushy peas.
A cup of mushy peas
On a
from
walnut-
Notts County
Mate,
in 22, or buffalo wings and fries from Hull. I'm surely no one is preferring a cup of mushy peas.
how many vegetarians?
Would you ever order that? Just a cup of mushy peas?
Mate, one of my favourite things back home back home in Toronto, I love split pea and ham soup. I
Okay,
go for it,
that's-
but that
okay.
kind of stuff. So, but
You
when
got
people,
ham in that.
yeah, but with that, would you say that is
It's
the
got added mint sauce.
oh, mint sauce? But would you say as well that would be the vegetarian difference to Bovril on a cold winter's day?
Maybe. Notts County. I reckon. I've got a feeling it might be this cup of bloody mushy.
So it's Notts County and who?
Surely it is, and Hull. But surely they're not serving it if people aren't loving it. Like, you don't serve just mushy peas.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
They must love mushy peas out there. The buffalo wings and fries look good. They look like the ones at the chicken house at Tottenham, actually. They actually do look pretty good. You know what? I'm going to go Hull.
You going Hull?
Yeah, Hull. Yeah!
Well done.
Everyone hates the mushy peas. Why do they serve them? All right. We
Did we win? Beginner's luck.
we got 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
That's not bad.
Over 50%.
That's not bad. How did everyone in the chat do?
I have no idea.
They all left now because we're playing Scrandle.
Check the comments, lads. Your boy got every single one. Sir Busting-Up. Oh, God, why did I read that name?
See, it's just a glorious time to be a Spurs fan.
God. All right. Well, that is it for today's stream. Big up to everyone in the comments who got involved. Enjoyed that one, Brian.
Mate, I really enjoyed it.
Always,
I love being back in the studio with you
We'll
guys.
see you tomorrow where Ben is back in the studio. Big up to everyone in the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.